afternoon, everyone. We are back here with you for our March series talking about financial sustainability and starting a business in Florida. And super excited about today's workshop and our presenter, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But first, wanted to just mention that we did receive the Chapter Excellence Award, the Diamond Award for 2020. We are so proud of that, and I'm so proud of our members for all the hard work that they do to accelerate this chapter to the top of the heap, as it were. So who is SCORE? What are we all about? If you don't know anything about this organization, here's your chance to get to learn a little bit more. We are a nationwide nonprofit, part of the SBA. We have over 300 chapters nationwide. And this chapter, SCORE Minnesota, has 90 volunteers and such a wealth of knowledge and expertise from our members from all over the country who have decided to call Sarasota and Manatee their home. So we hope to bring you some really valuable information from our chapter and the amazing mentors that we have. So really want to talk with you about what we do for our members. In addition to workshops like these, some of the things that we help you with is really developing your value proposition and understanding how to start a business, whether you're in the research and planning phases, opening a business, growing a business. And then we actually have an exit strategy team as part of our chapter. So this is a huge piece of who we are and what we do. And we provide these services primarily through mentors. So if you need help in any of these phases of your business, or if you just have a specific question, we're here to help you with any phase of your business. Also, we could not do this without our sponsors. So great many thanks to these folks who have provided us with funding so that we can continue to bring you live workshops like this one, as well as mentoring. So thanks to our sponsors. We have with us today Doug Barber, and Doug has been with us for quite a while. He is amazing when it comes to explaining the core of the business model canvas. And if you don't know what that is, it is truly the heartbeat, I think, of what SCORE does with folks in developing what I call the abbreviated strategic plan, but really understanding your business, where it is now, where you want to go, and how you're going to get there. So without further ado, I'm going to pass things over to Doug. Doug, thank you so much for volunteering with the organization and agreeing to do this with us. If you wouldn't mind telling folks a little bit about yourself so that they have a better understanding of who you are and why you decided to volunteer with the organization.
Very good. Thank you, Paula. Welcome. We have a beautiful day here in Florida, and going to enjoy that later on. Doug Barber, background, abbreviated background, small-time builder from Western New York, where we self-performed all the activities. So that's concrete, framing, wood, electric, plumbing. That went along for about 17 years. And then I transitioned over to technical education. So I took those skills that I learned and started applying that at a 2-year technical school. Went back to school, continued my education, a few more degrees, and we ended up being a 4-year technical school. And I taught construction management while continuing to own rental properties, both here and in Belize. And that's kind of to wrap it up with, I've been with SCORE for 12 years now. I really enjoy working with people who want to succeed in business. And this is the tool to use, the business model canvas. We used to start, next slide, Paula. We used to start with something more elaborate, and that was the executive plan, the detailed business plan. And what I found is that clients coming in that were searching for business and searching for business ideas, but they just were hesitant to put pen to pencil. And Everybody's trying to do proper sentences and fill paragraphs and work with a big cumbersome outline. No. The business model canvas, we didn't create it. We borrowed it from a company over in Europe. It's literally known worldwide as the BMC, the business model canvas. It's dynamic. It's a brainstorming tool. For those of us that are techies, we don't have to work in sentences. We can work in short statements as we fill out our ideas on the business model canvas. Ideally, you'd work in front of a great big whiteboard with a lot of markers and you could fill this in. Or you might sit working with a business model canvas in front of you with Post-it notes. Me, I prefer pencil on paper, working with the business model canvas and writing things out. It's a brainstorming tool. So there are no bad ideas. Get them all down and we'll sort them out later. This becomes the framework for your business plan. Your business plan will be a detailed plan for operating your business. First, we got to get our ideas organized, our thoughts together. Next slide, please. The business model canvas applies to, and remember that ladder that Paula just showed you, to new businesses. Also evaluating and improving existing businesses. It makes you look and see if all the elements are there and how the elements connect. Completing due diligence for buying a business or setting yourself up to selling a business. What are the important key components that you want to have? And again, without getting into an elaborate Word document, we can do this in the business model canvas very quickly. There are also business model canvases for profits and non-profits. Next, please. I think a good place to start is to analyze your business strengths and weaknesses. This is the old SWOT chart. It's been around for a long time. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We want to spend time just thinking about a chart, a simple 4 boxes that we want to work on. I'd like to think they came in order, but it doesn't. You're brainstorming. So as the thoughts come up, put them in the appropriate box. If you feel they're in the wrong box, move them around later, but get it down on paper as quickly as possible. What are the strengths of your business? What will the strengths be? The terminology that you use to describe the strengths of the business that you envision will become key terminology in the development of your marketing plan. Let's jump over to threats. The number one is, who are your competitors? And my number one task is to get on Google or your favorite search engine and start looking at your business. What are the threats? Who are the people that are in there? How are they marketing? How are they putting themselves forward? The search engines are still one of the number one pieces of media that is used to promote a business. Weaknesses, opportunities, those are both ends, 2 ends of the spectrum there. What do you see the possible weaknesses for your business and opportunities? But working on the strengths, the threats will actually help build your strengths. These are important key words as we move forwards. Next, please. This is the business model canvas. This is the standard business model canvas format. I've divided it up into 2 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the right-hand side is going to be the creative section. Okay, so this is, for us techies, this is where a lot of challenges. We're over on the left-hand side and across the bottom are the operational components. As we work on the business model canvas, there are no wrong answers. We want to get everything down and then we can sort it out and write and rewrite. It's easy enough to do the business model canvas. If you have a thought, rather than just kind of stick it in the parking lot, that's where you put it on another piece of paper somewhere else, put it over in the category it fits best, whether it's a key activity, resource, partners, something to do with cost. Keep all your information, all your ideas focused on one piece of paper that you can have in front of you. We're going to start with the value proposition. That is absolutely key. Next, please. The value proposition. It's going to be a short, concise statement here. We want to give the prospective buyer a nice, clear understanding of who we are, what we're going to offer. It's going to describe your product and services. Some people like to say it improves the customer's life or it solves the customer's problem. Whether you're a service business or a retail product, the BMC fits both categories. You can work through it both ways. Explains to the customer why you should buy from them. It's got to be significant. And I like the term unique selling proposition. Unique selling proposition. Value proposition is good. Unique selling proposition. What is so unique about your business that I just have to call you and not the guy next to you on that media listing? I keep on referring to Google, but that's the one I constantly use, and someone 80% of the search engine people use looking for products. What is unique? So we need to come up with those key terms. Remember back on the SWOT, we talked about strengths. That's what we're going to focus on. The other boxes are going to help us and use those threats, opportunities, and weaknesses to actually focus in on our unique selling proposition. Next, please. This is a little device, and maybe it's a little bit older but I like the example because it's nice and compact. This was developed by Square. The value proposition from Square, right off the internet. Square creates accessibility for credit card transactions, low price per transaction, convenience, customization of reports, risk reduction, and it's easy to use. Bam. This is what is so important. Customer segmentation. Now we're sliding over to box number 2. So if we've got a unique selling proposition now, who are the clients? Call them customers, call them clients, but we want to do a profile. We want to do what we see as a typical client. There may be multiple clients, different profiles. I'm tripping over the word avatar because that's the one that's now come into the vocabulary. An avatar is all those characteristics for that particular customer. So you're going to be dividing the customers into groups based on common characteristics so you can figure out how to market to each one of these customers. And also, if you understand who your customer is and you understand what they look at, what they read, what they watch, now you can look at and select the best communications channel for marketing, for targeting those messages. So that's what we're trying to do with customer segmentation. Next, please. Here are 2 different customer segments. They're easy to understand. The geographic segments based on geography. The demographic segments based on personality characteristics, value, attitudes, interests, lifestyles, age, gender, occupation, income. Right now, I'm working with some students at Lakewood Ranch High School, and it's interesting to see they really grasp it. These are seniors and juniors that are taking an entrepreneurial course, and we got right into the demographics. One of the companies that they've designed is a power washing company. Well, what needs to be power washed? What is first of all, the geographic area? How big an area are you going to cover? And then second, demographic. Who needs this? What is the profile for someone who wants to have their house power washed? Next, please. I get carried away telling stories, so I have to stay on script here. Market segment for Square. Going back to that little device. That little device plugs into the top of your phone, has an app, and it allows you to swipe a credit card across the top of your phone, moves through the cellular system, and immediately credits your account and can send a receipt by email to your customer. Whoa. And I hold it in my hand, and they didn't have to buy anything special. Who's it going to work for? Small businesses. It's portable. It's easy to use. How many small businesses in their market? 27 million in the US. 27 million. And what are their customer segments? So we're trying to figure out, okay, how do I reach 27 million small businesses? Well, we've got to look at the various media that those segments would look at. So the segments are divided into business owners of corporate retail, small outlets, vertically fashion, sports, recreation, food. It's an easy way to get your money. Next, please. What is the value proposition? Let's go. Creates accessibility for credit transactions, low price per transaction, convenience. It fits perfectly. This little device that plugs in the top of your phone, that's it, in a sentence. Another nice thing about a strong value proposition is it really wants you asking for more, looking for more information. Low price? What's low price? What do they really mean by low price? Do I have a minimum? Do I have a maximum? Convenient. Okay, what's the app going to look like? Is there a cost for having this on my phone? These are questions that are kind of generated and will drive the potential customer to seek more information. A good value proposition will drive the potential customer to seek out more information. And that's, I repeat myself because it's so important. Just to have it out there and have a billboard without driving them to a landing page, without driving them to a phone number, isn't going to do you any good. So that unique value proposition is going to be a driver. Next, please. Box number 3. So I went from the center box all the way over to the right, which was the breakdown of the customers. And now we're going to talk about channels. 2 types of channels. You'll see in the little tiny box is a little truck there because it's originally was primarily retail sales, but it's reached out to services a lot. You still have to get there. 2 types of channels, communications, the marketing, the whole marketing array is going to be covered. We know what we want to say. That's over here on the value proposition. We know who our customers are. And now on the marketing side, we need to create that customer touch point. The touch point that's going to display our value proposition, let them know what our products and services are, and gets them to bring them into our landing page. Logistical. That's the second part. It's one thing to be able to market and say, sell it, but now how are you going to deliver it? And certainly our biggest giant today is Amazon. I had no idea how many small businesses used Amazon to deliver their products. They didn't warehouse them themselves. And I find that interesting when I buy on Amazon. Sometimes I'm an Amazon Prime member and it'll say next day delivery, or it'll say 3 to 5 days. What 3 to 5 days tells me, it's not carried into warehouse. This is coming out of somebody else's private warehouse. So it's possible to do that. But still, you've got to figure out how you're best organized to deliver your product if it's physical. If it's electronic, we got electronic downloads now. Press a button, buy the service, buy the CD, buy the audio, and press a button and it's downloaded to your phone. Again, think about what's the best way to deliver to your customers. Just to diverge for a minute, we got a little problem now with the vaccine, don't we? Trying to communicate to the population, an elderly population, to get their vaccination, and then the logistical part of delivering it. That's turned into a bit of a nightmare. People who don't live on their computers, don't have access to computers, and then the logistical part, how are we going to get people who are not mobile to the vaccination? Hey, this reaches out into several areas. This BMC has got multiple uses. Next, please. Market research versus marketing. When we were looking at the customer and the customer profile, we were doing market research, the who, the where. You need to know what is going to be that customer profile. You need to dig down deep. It's not just so much the geographic area, that's more of your own ability to handle physically 1 county, 2 counties, 4 counties, the state of Florida. That's the geographic slice. Now let's talk about the market research that builds the profile. Marketing, on the other hand, is the activity for creating the communications and then delivering those communications that we have value to the customer. That's the marketing. How are we going to deliver it? What is the best medium? So we've got to go back to look at that customer profile to try to figure out what is the best medium to reach our customer segments. That's a challenge, not my expertise. We're very fortunate with all the mentors that we have here. We have about 80 mentors working at SCORE, and we have a half a dozen whose expertise is in marketing. So I co-mentor when needed with a marketing expert that will help work with my client to figure out what is the best medium. Work on the BMC, work on the market research, and then the marketing. What's the best medium, print or digital? Next, please. Next slide. Here we go. Reaching your customers. Use library business resources. Boy, it's so easy to do and so much information at your fingertips. Whether you're looking for zip codes, region, company, demographics, consumer data, the bottom line is the library reference librarian is going to be your best friend. They will teach you how to use the database. So right now we have participants in Sarasota and Manatee County. Go to your respective library systems, obtain a library card, they're free. The services in the library reference librarian are free, and they will show you how to access the database where you can really dig down for your market research. You can also use it to look up competition, the competition that's in your industry. Next door, down the street, look at some numbers for your competition. Who are they? Literally, the names and addresses of your competition can be listed, along as their size, their dollar value, all sorts of information that are held in the database available through the reference librarian. Thank you. Next slide. Customer relations. Customer relations, you know, we struggled with this a little bit, and then it became so obvious to me. Strong customer relations lead to loyal clients, positive word of mouth referrals, and increased sales. My experiences with Apple, I'm sitting here in front of an Apple computer looking at an Apple phone next to my Apple iPod. Why do I choose Apple? Why do I personally spend the extra money to go to Apple? Because I am not a techie. Written in the upper left-hand corner of my computer is the phone number for Apple support. And when I get stuck, I got somebody to talk to, a real person that identifies and knows exactly what equipment I've got and how it works. That stays me. That is building a customer relationship. I also, in terms of positive word of mouth, referrals, absolutely. Or the other example that I like to use is Home Depot. I've had good experiences, but my most recent one kind of blew my socks off on how fantastic Home Depot was. In October, the microwave the microwave in the kitchen quit. And like most households, we're dependent on the microwave. Yes, we have a stovetop, but it's the microwave that prepares about half the food. The microwave kit quits, and I go out first to start finding where microwaves can be purchased. And I went to the obvious big box stores, and Home Depot was not on the chart because Home Depot is where I go for lumber, not for appliances. But after searching and searching, and the wife was very specific, she wanted a black microwave, 1,000, 1,200 watts, decent performance. And I found one finally. It was at Home Depot. Push the buttons. Turns out that all these big box stores really don't have them in the store. They're all in a warehouse and they ship direct to you. And a big white van truck pulls up and it pulls off my microwave. And my neighbor was there to help me. And he was very concerned. The box looked a little damaged. He cuts the box open. We look at it. Everything's fine. We sign the paperwork. Guy's gone. We install it. Great. Looks great. The wife comes in and she goes, "That's the wrong microwave." I said, No. We went out and looked at the box and it was somebody else's microwave. We had the wrong one. 4:00 Saturday afternoon, I called Home Depot and apologized. And I said, the wrong microwave was dropped off and we installed it. It's all stainless steel. The wife wants all black. The assistant manager said, "I'll be back to you Monday morning. We'll solve this problem." Monday morning by 11 o'clock, I got a phone call. They had solved the problem. The microwave would be to my house on Thursday. The man delivering it would remove the microwave that we had installed and install the new one. And by the time he walked away, we were completely microwavable. Unbelievable service. Unbelievable. So here I am touting, look at some of the big box stores that you wouldn't think for service, outstanding service for appliances. And that's my story. And I pitched Home Depot if you need a microwave. Next, please. And we'll go back and look again. So we talked about the Apple, dedicated personal assistants. There's a company right now that sells computers over on Tamiami Trail. And I'll plug them, Computer Advantage. They handle all types of computers and they run regular classes and they follow up and they send me regular emails. And I can get dedicated personal assistants. I can sit down one-on-one with a specialist, or now we do it virtually, or online tools. When I do a little do-it-yourself repair, I can go into some of the parts, replacement parts, and there they've got these wonderful videos, not only what to order, but how to install it and how to check it out. Wow. Self-service tools. What happened to our banks? They're closing up. They're all turning into apps and ATMs. They're self-service tools, right? Mobile deposits, ATM when you finally do need cash. Customer relationships, they keep on bringing people back to your organization. Next, please. We talked about the right-hand side, the value proposition, jumping over to the customer segments where we try to do a profile of our customers And then if we have a profile, we know what the communications are going to be, then we've got the channels. Decide you've got your marketing channel, and then you've got your delivery channel. Customer relationships, building that bond should be a little hard up in there because you want to build a relationship that keeps coming back, keeps on giving. Now we're going to move to the left-hand side, which are the activities. I'm checking my timer here because I'm known to run over. Key activities, core competencies. What are your core competencies? What are you going to do, your business going to do under your roof? Expression, under your roof. Literally, are you operations and production? Or is that all offshore? Or is that subbed out somewhere? Certainly cost control is important. That's one that you need to keep your thumb on. Sales. How are you going to do your sales? Is it going to be one of your core competencies? You're going to have a sales force? Or are you going to be in the operations, production, and more into having somebody else sell it and distribute it? What are your best core competencies? Marketing. Well, here's one. I'm a techie. I'm not strong in marketing. I can hire a marketing firm that can help me develop the marketing plan and deliver it, including the graphics and choosing the media based on the profile of my customer. What are going to be my core competencies? I'll tell you one that's not mine for sure is website, construction and operation. My website, construction and operation, is done under a contract, and it's a website provider. He literally, we came up with the name together. The name of the website, the actual construction of the website. He had great ideas. My job was to provide the pictures. My job was to provide the narrative. His job was to make it into a working website. We've had several seminars now on website construction with Jeremy, and it can be quite challenging. Not one of my fortes. As I said, I'm not a techie, but I have got several websites, and I go in, and they are more landing pages than they are selling pages. Or I shouldn't say selling, but retail pages. There isn't any shopping cart. It's a landing page to show you pictures and narrative, and to email the owner. That was me. To email the owner for more information. You want a rental property in Belize? I got the website for you. We show you some options, show you where, how to get there, explain all the details, and then email me for that final price and availability. It's a landing page. New product service development, that's typically inside. You may have somebody help you with prototypes, but the actual idea, that's what your business is about. So over on the right-hand side, it says to outsource or self-perform. That's the question. Outsource or self-perform. Next. Key resources. What are your key resources? And again, now I'm going to use an example of a cabinet shop. I got a cabinet shop. I better have some table saws and chop saws, the ability to handle flat goods. That means I need a building. And I have equipment. I am making cabinets. That's what I do. Financial, key resources. Do I have big pockets that are stuffed full of money? Or am I going to try to get investors to help me? Bank loans, line of credit. These are key resources that you have to think about as you start building it and modeling your company. Intellectual property, patents, trademarks, trade secrets, how they are handled, using a lawyer to protect them. If it's unique, you want to make sure that you get it protected. Key resources, if you are a technology company, it's probably a key resource is the technology available. Technology in terms of computer systems, I go into the doctor's office and any of these big offices, and you have to admire the integration of all the computer equipment. The x-rays that are taken 1 minute show up on the doctor's desk the next minute. Key resources, technology that support that whole medical profession. Human resources. That's a tough one right now because labor is in such high demand. How do you obtain and hold a workforce? Those are the challenges today. Key resources. Or are you simply going to say, I'm going to subcontract it all out? That becomes somebody else's problem. But still, it's still a problem. You've got to get the labor. You get a resource, key resources, a decent HR department, a decent benefit package. You want to attract key personnel, strong personnel, people who show up every single day to work hard for you, push your company along. Next, please. Remember on the left-hand side, key partners. I've broken this into 3 parts. Vendors as a key partner, market research, marketing support, employee training. A good vendor will actually provide training on how to use their product properly or how to sell their product, how to promote it. They'll come into your store if you're a retail operation and show you to train your employees on how to use it, how to promote it. Vendors, credit terms. This is getting tougher and tougher. Once upon a time, when I was in business a long time ago, we used to have credit terms, and my credit terms for my principal vendors were net 30, discount in 10 days. I could get a 1.5% discount if I could get them a check in their hands within 10 days that I received the bill. So by the 10th of the month. If not, the entire bill was due in 30 days, net 30. Today, that's narrowed down. It's tougher to get credit terms, and if you do, it's a very short window, down to a couple of weeks. And in terms of discount for cash or discount for early payment, it's almost evaporated. But what are going to be the credit terms with your vendor? How long can you hold off paying them for a product? A brand new company with no history, you're going to have very, very few credit terms. It might even be cash on delivery. Just-in-time inventory with your vendors. It's a source of cash flow because you don't have to have your product sitting on the shelf. You don't have to have multiple copies of your product ready to go. Just-in-time inventory says you've got a vendor that works with you and you tell them you need 10 widgets. He can have 10 widgets to you in a predetermined timeline, a week. 10 widgets, thank you very much. 100 widgets, thank you very much. 1,000 face masks for personal protective equipment. How fast can you get them to them? Just-in-time inventory is a source of cash flow. So that partnership with your vendor is very important. Next, please. Strategic partners. Alliances between business service, same segment. And the one that comes to mind is our pup gets groomed. It's an association with a veterinarian. So you've got a veterinarian that's got a groomer literally working next door, or you go to PetSmart where the big store has got literally a veterinarian available, a groomer available. They don't typically do boarding, but they've taken and integrated the various services under one roof. That's a strategic partner. An alliance between competitors. This boggled my mind a little bit, and yet it happens. There's an algorithm that USPS, that's your United States Post Office, FedEx, and UPS, the brown truck, have agreements on what's called last mile delivery. They have figured out that it's cheaper for them to have the third party actually do the last mile. And it all depends on where they are, what they're delivering, the size of the delivery. Just got a notification from the post office. I have a package coming today. I can get in there, trace it. It turns out that it was handed off to the post office in Tampa, which meant to me that what started out as a UPS or a FedEx has actually turned into a post office delivery. They have a last mile delivery agreement, an alliance between competitors. It goes both ways. Joint ventures. Got to put my construction hard hat on. We do this a lot in construction for major projects. Can be done for smaller projects. You go into a joint venture, you actually create another business, a new business. And that business has got partners in it. One partner will bring to the table capital, money for the project. When you're working with a government project, it could be months to get paid. How are you going to bridge that gap? You need a source of capital. Risk sharing. Risk sharing is just that. Think of it as I'm taking a risk when I do this job. And if I have to carry all that risk on my shoulders and it screws up, I'm gone. Where if I can spread that risk to a couple of companies, yeah, okay, that's easier to literally shoulder. But also, if it's a high risk company, they want better reward. Additional skills. Florida, the state of Florida just recently put out an advertisement for the Ellington intersection. Everybody knows the Ellington intersection because if you're traveling north in the afternoon, you're stuck on that line, that long traffic line going over the bridge, and they've got to do something to clean it up. So the Florida Department of Transportation put out a request for proposals between a contractor and an engineering firm to partner and submit a joint venture proposal. They're trying to reduce the timeline that it takes to design it and to build it. There's going to be one check sent to one joint venture, and then the joint venture figures out how that money gets split up. That's a good adventure, a good example, I think, of a joint venture. Support network. Key partners. You go into a small business and it's so important to have family and friends in support. I just so believe that, maybe because that was part of my success, is having family and friends supporting our business. Your accountant can be absolutely critical in terms of deciding what is the best format for your business. Everybody thinks it's an attorney. No, it's for tax purposes. Let's look at whether we're a proprietorship, a partnership, an LLC, a C Corp, an S Corp. A lot of that has to do with the financial arrangements. The banker, know your banker, lender. So when you do need money, you can create a relationship with your banker. They know who you are. Community banks are very strong. I had a client, their construction company to me was weak and failing, but they had their mortgage with this bank. They had both car loans with this bank. They had their checkbook and their savings account with the bank. They had their business with their bank, and the bank went ahead and lent them money on the signature note, meaning no collateral, on their construction company. I was dumbfounded, but they have such a good banking relationship. They felt comfortable that they would pull it off. Attorneys, absolutely necessary to confirm the type of legal entity you're going to be in. An attorney, you need one on your side if you get any litigation. Attorney would be part of your support. Insurance brokers, make sure you've got the right coverage. We're not just talking automobile coverage. We're talking depending on your business. You need renters coverage. Do you need product coverage? Do you need coverage where you're transporting goods? Lastly, most important, your SCORE mentor. You can get a SCORE mentor. We're free, absolutely free. It's a community of mentors giving back their time and energy to the community, focusing on small business success. Next, please. Revenue stream. Gonna just double check my time here. Transaction sales, recurring sales, transaction sales to everything's at the grocery store. Ka-ching, thank you. Ka-ching, that's a transaction sale. Reoccurring sales, can you set it up? Newspaper subscription. Man, every 6 months I get a bill for my newspaper subscription. It's not even a newspaper anymore, it's digital, but I still get the bill for it. Memberships, gym memberships, reoccurring sales, usage fees, UPS. I never thought of UPS as a usage fee, but you're paying a fee to use their infrastructure, their logistical infrastructure to deliver your package. Lend lease payments over time as reoccurring sales because there's typically interest involved, but it's an option. Next, please. Cost structures. Fixed cost, variable cost. Go back to my cabinet shop. It's got saws. It's got finishing. It's got paint booths. You know, without a single cabinet being produced, it has got a ton of equipment. It's got a roof over its head. It's got utility costs. These are fixed costs, and we haven't even built a cabinet. What are your fixed costs? Then your variable costs vary with the level of goods and services. We just got an order for 3 kitchens. Bring in the plywood. Let's start cutting and planning out and building our cabinets. The variable cost then is going to be our labor, the cost of goods, cost of services. Those are variable, but 2 types: fixed cost, variable costs. Next, please. Cost driven. So you're trying to minimize the investment into the business. And the best example of that is Southwest Airlines. They have cut the frills. People are willing to travel in those fixed size seats. There is no first class, there's no extended legroom, but the numbers, the prices are good. They also only travel when it's popular, so that some of the routes are abandoned during the off season, then brought back in. It's all cost driven. They've got built an airlines based on the cost, minimizing investment. They also stay on the ground for a very short period of time. Boom, they're gone. Value driven, focused on providing maximum value to the customer. That's Apple. Apple is value driven. That's the best example I can come up with. Maximum value to the customer, and people are willing to pay for it. Next, please. Here we are back to the business model canvas. Right-hand side, that's going to be our marketing. Left-hand side is our operations. The advantage of using this form is that it's all done with sentence statements. It's all brainstorming, and then you revise it and you compact it. Initially, that value proposition could have 12, 14, 15 items. Ultimately, it needs to be slimmed down into a single statement, a concise, powerful statement, using all those key words that you've been brainstorming on. Customer segments, the same way. You might start with 6 or 8 customer profiles and narrow it down to 2 or 3 manageable profiles, which you can then talk about marketing to, channels, marketing to, and where they are, customer relationships. And on the operational side, they are just that, operational sides, the key activities, key resources, key partners. We can use this for new businesses, brainstorming our ideas. We can use this for existing businesses as we start to evaluate key activities and key resources. And cost cutting. What are the most expensive parts of our key activities and key resources? What do we want to do in-house? What do we want to do out? How can we squeeze down our costs to increase our profitability? Next slide. There we are. We're at the Q&A.
Now we're at the Q&A, and I wanted to open up the panel for discussion. If you guys have any questions, if you'll note that in the question and answer section. Doug, great job. I mean, honestly, covering so much information in such a short period of time. Kudos to you for being able to get through all that.
Paula, when I meet with a new client, and it's not the first thing out of the box, is the BMC. We need to know each other. We need to know the direction they want to go. But when we start talking about developing a new business idea, my first session will be an hour and a half, easily, an hour and a half on the BMC, and we'll only cover the value proposition and touch upon the profile for the customer. And then we come back and we refine it and we do a couple more boxes. And then we come back. It's a process. It's a brainstorming process, a refinement process that really sharpens the edge.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that with mentors and what they're able to do. And if you folks are interested in getting a mentor, know that you can jump onto our website and find a mentor. You can volunteer as well and learn a lot about the workshops and meetups that we have, all virtual still at this point. But there's a lot of resources here for you as a new business, as a business that might be growing. And then also, go on and definitely look at the evaluation form for this event. We're going to email you out the survey. We're also going to email you the slides and the recording. So you'll have an opportunity to take this slower if you need to have it done for you slower. If you really need the help, reach out to us. We're definitely here to help you in any way that we possibly can. And I just want to check here. We've got one person in the chat just saying, excellent presentation, easy and actionable. Thank you. So you're very welcome, Mary. We're certainly happy to help you out and folks here. Any final thoughts at all, Doug? Yes.
Yes. As when we do that, send out that email, we'll also include a copy of the business model canvas template. We have it in Word, so that you can work it. If you're a techie, you can do it in Word. We'll also have a paper version, 8.5 by 11, that you can work on. And I make multiple copies, and that's what I use. Just keep on going from one copy to the next.
Fantastic. And I'm going to launch our poll too. If you would let us know what your status is for your business, this always helps us out in terms of developing workshops and also making sure we're providing you with the information that you need to be successful in your business. So if you wouldn't mind just filling out that poll real quick for us, we're certainly appreciate your feedback.
Covered a lot of material. When you work with your mentor, it'll go slower. And you'll have somebody to talk to, brainstorm ideas, nail down the various topics.
I think that's one of the things too, Doug, that we really have found that's important for folks is, utilizing the business model canvas and how that ties into securing funding along the way. When we look at the funding piece of all of this, you need to have these pieces pulled together. And this whole entire series this month is all about financial sustainability. As we move into April, we're also going to be expanding upon that and really diving into loan applications and private funding and looking at angel investing and venture capitals and crowdsourcing. And when you're moving into that segment of starting a business, you're a startup, you need to have these pieces on lockdown. You want to talk a little bit about that to folks?
In terms of the financing,
in terms of just really understanding how that interplay works.
Well, let's go back to the business model canvas. Again, it's a framework for us techies. It's done in short, very short prose. And we're going to take that with our marketing plan, and we're going to start to pull out full sentence and full paragraphs. And it's going to give us the guts, if I can use that word, for our business plan. And as you go to investors, they're going to want to see some financials as well. They're going to want to see if you're, again, depending on your situation and whether you're a complete startup, there's no free money out there. You have to prove yourself. Start with the business model canvas, develop it into a business plan, and target it towards your funding source, because they're different. How you write it for a bank versus how you write it for an angel investor. And I'm working with a client right now, and they're in very, very good shape. I'm really pleased financially, but they're short money. They need a new piece of equipment. So we're looking at alternatives on how to best go that. Right, one way we're going to write it for the bank, and another way we're going to write it for an investment company. Just a little different slant on how
exactly. And that's so important, I think. And David Wright, just wanted to reach out. Thank you for the presentation. I guess he's also a former Western New Yorker from Fredonia. He said he's going to be sure to tell his daughter to look for one of your classes at Lakewood Ranch High School. So thank you, David. Appreciate that. Well, folks, we definitely appreciate your time this afternoon. And if you do have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We're here to help. Thank you, Doug, for facilitating this session. Truly value and appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you, Paula.
All right. Take care now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.